Hey guys, JJ here, aka Uncle Dunkle, coming at you from Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy is actually a site that I recently found out about. Basically, it's a strong mix of daily fantasy sports and player prop betting, which offers a unique blend and mix of a lot of sorts of things for the avid sports gambler. I'll show you real quick what they offer, and right after I do, I'll discuss some of the plays I like for the slate they're offering in NFL Saturday for the playoff matchups. But let me switch my screen here, hide myself a bit. Okay, so basically, what you need to do at Thrive is you have contests where you have up to 10 slots. They're going to give you 20 different player prop options to choose from. I'll move myself completely out of the way here. They're going to give you 20 slots to choose from with about in this specific tournament where you're going to pick 10 options. So like for instance, you could say Andrew Luck over or under 310 yards. The over will get you 95. The under will get you 105. You could say 25 and a half completions. The over will get you 110. The under will get you 90. Ultimately, guys, you're looking for the best value you can find at the value that they're going to give you at that number. So like for instance, so you saw, the over is 110, the under is 90. So there's more value technically if it goes over, but obviously there's a lower chance it'll go over. That's what you're presuming based on those numbers. Now, like Marlon Mack going over 61 and a half rushing yards or under, it's 100 both ways, so they practically consider it 50-50. So you basically get the gist of it. You go through the entire slate. In this case, it's the Saturday slate, which includes the Colts, Texans. Then you have the Seahawks and the Cowboys. Obviously, props from all of them. I'm going to give you three that I like the most here. But again, if you're looking for a new website, a new place to land yourself, these contests are all a lot of fun. They do them for NBA. They'll have them for baseball. They'll have them throughout the NFL playoffs as well. They'll have a separate contest, obviously, for Saturday and for Sunday. It's a lot of fun, guys. It's like I said, I like to think of it as player prop betting meets DFS. You basically are picking players, multiple players, and you're hoping to have the most points at the end of the contest between all the entrants, right? So, and as you can see, the prize payouts, decent numbers. So it's a lot of fun, and it definitely makes the game a lot more fun to watch. I've been using them for a while now, and again, just a tremendous amount of fun. So without further ado, let me give you guys my three favorite picks from the Saturday slate to help you out, especially if you're going to get started and get funded there. So I've been looking through this, and I've looked through the numbers, and I'm a player props guy, as you guys may know, may not know. You can follow me over on Uncle Dunkle at Twitter, where I'm giving out a bunch of picks. But ultimately, the three I like the most. So I'm going to start with Andrew Luck, 25 and a half completions total. I'm going to say I like this over, and the reason being, so let me just state clearly that you always want to look for spots where you can find extra value with the number being pumped at the top, because keep in mind, a lot of people are going to go for the safer plays. And granted, you can make the argument that more people are going to bet overs than unders. So maybe the goal should be to maybe look for some unders if you want to be different and you want to give yourself the opportunity to move up the ladder. But you also want to look for spots where you can gain yourself more points as well, more than the average. Obviously, if the average is 100, you want to get yourself in spots where you can get more than that if the value is to be had there. Now, when I look at Andrew Luck's completions total at 25 and a half, I feel like that's low. I feel like it's actually low by about 2 or 3. And I know that you're getting better value because obviously they're offering you 110 on that number over. And here's why I think it's a little low. If you look at Andrew Luck's 4 of his last 5 games, excluding the Titans games. I exclude the Titans games because those were complete blowouts and it was the same team twice. Both those games he went under 25 and a half completions. But if you take away those 2 Tennessee games in his last 7, 4 of the other 5 he went over this number. The lone game where he didn't go over was against Dallas, but yet again, another blowout, 23-0. Okay, so the 4 games out of his last 7, excluding Tennessee, Dallas, that have been competitive, every game that's been competitive, Andrew Luck's gone over this number. So what does this tell me? This tells me that when the games are close, when the game's on the line, they rely on Andrew Luck's arm, whether they're from ahead, from behind. Now, granted, Marlon Mack's been great. I'm not saying they're not going to lean on him, but they would need a pretty decent-sized lead, especially since Marlon Mack's yards per carry, it really varies from game to game. I mean, if he has a game where he's getting 1 or 2 yards on first down, they're going to be throwing on second and third down all night long. Not to say that Marlon Mack can't squeeze a few extra, but I think that there's just a tremendous amount of value in the over on this number. Also worth noting, the Colts have played Houston twice. Both times Andrew Luck went over this number. I just think you're getting a good value spot here at over at the 110, giving that extra bonus number. So you're going to want to make sure you go ahead and select that over. Second one I like in here is Lamar Miller rushing and receiving yards 80.5. I'm going to go ahead and like that under. And here's my explanation. So first of all, Lamar Miller over his last 3 games has been very paltry. Been under about 50 yards in his last 3. Now, I don't count the Jets game. He did get injured in that game. Well, we won't count that negatively against him. However, the stats are what they are. He hasn't been running as well recently. Maybe he's getting a little tired, breaking down a bit. Also, Deshaun Watson has been running a lot more recently. If his rushing yards over his last 2 games have been the highest they've been all year for the span of 2 games. And, especially as they get closer to the red zone, Deshaun Watson's keeping the ball. Ultimately, when the game is on the line, much like I said, like with the Colts with Andrew Luck, where they like to throw more, when the game's on the line, they like the ball in Watson's hands. Also got to, they also spring it out for Blue a decent amount there. So I just think this is a tough number. Lamar Miller doesn't catch a whole lot of passes, especially for a lot of yards. So I don't look at it as I'm all that threatened there. I would expect his receiving yards to be anywhere between 14 and 16 as a prop tomorrow. As a prop on Saturday. So, the idea is that I guess he's got to get 65 to 66 rushing yards, which, by the way, he didn't do in either contest against the Colts in the first and the second time he played them. He hasn't even come close to 80.5 total on this number against the Colts in both trips. I just feel like with the way they're playing now, Houston is, and with Lamar Miller's recent troubles finding holes, I just feel like this number is a bit high. Very much so like this number under. And the final prop I'll give you guys, it's actually based on the value behind it. This actually might be my favorite one. Where's Russell Wilson? So it's going to be Russell Wilson. So 0.5 total interceptions. Over gets you 80 points. Under gets you 120. I got to be honest, guys. I can't figure this out. If it was 100, I would still like the under. Basically, who the heck wants to, watch a game and, hope that he's not going to throw an interception? An interception can happen on any play, right? I mean, for the most part, he could throw up a Hail Mary at halftime that gets intercepted. He could throw a Hail Mary at the end of the game that gets intercepted after playing, flawless football the entire game. I get it. Here's the problem. 120 is a solid number. It's one of the biggest numbers you can get in all of it. And I can't imagine a lot of people are going to really want to bet under half an interception for a quarterback. But here's the thinking here, guys. So Dallas is actually 26th in the league with 9 picks all season. They have 1 pick in their last 4 games, that being against Eli Manning in this most recent shootout. I mean, Eli Manning is what he is. Russell Wilson played this team earlier in the year. He did not have an interception in Seattle. Also, Russell Wilson has thrown only 2 picks in his last 8 games. So, I'm getting a quarterback that's not turning the ball over against a defense that doesn't really force turnovers in terms of interceptions. And not only am I getting that, I'm getting that at a solid value number of 120, one of the highest point totals on the slate. So again, when you're playing on Thrive, which I can't express enough how much fun it is to add this element to watching a football game, you want to look for spots where it's not just the prop, it's the value you're getting from the prop. I mean, remember, guys, every number is not 100, right? So you got to look for, where am I getting extra value? Okay, no one can predict the future, but over time, value, will precede all, right? So under 120 there, solid number. I just think too much value. If it was 100, I'd bet it under. So at 120, I love that. Again, love the Lamar Miller under 80.5 rushing yards, and love Andrew Luck over 25.5 completions. I'm going to leave you guys at the 3 props. I could give you more, but then, where would the fun in your own research and all that be, right? So give you the 3 props. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you play them. Been very successful with props all NFL season long. And look, if you don't have an account, head over to ThriveFantasy.com, download the app on your phone, log in, fund the account, and even just for some laughs or some extra enjoyment in the game, it'll definitely make it a lot more fun for you to watch and watch your players do well for you. And again, not just at a DFS level and not just at a betting player prop level. It's a good hybrid to mix in between. A lot of fun. Look, I hope you guys check it out. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video and enjoy the game Saturday. I'm Uncle Dunkle, and this has been me coming at you guys from Thrive Fantasy. Thanks again.